Back in 1963, a homeowner in Turkey used a sledgehammer to begin routine DIY renovations on his basement. He expected to find rusty pipes or a patch of damp earth. When the stone gave way, he found a hollow room. That room connected to a hidden corridor, completely sealed off from the outside world. This cross-section schematic illustrates the scale of what he had breached. Below his foundation sat an ancient 8-story complex, plunging 279 feet into the earth. This subterranean labyrinth was built to hold up to 20,000 people simultaneously. Carving a metropolis out of solid rock required centuries of coordinated labor. We have to look at what drove an ancient society to bury itself and how they managed to live in pitch darkness without suffocating. If you house 20,000 people nearly 300 feet underground, the most immediate biological threat is the rapid depletion of breathable air. Here is the primary solution: a 180-foot central ventilation shaft pumping fresh oxygen into the deepest levels. That column of air is routed through smaller channels, pushing oxygen into horizontal chambers and pulling carbon dioxide up and away. With the air supply secured, residents moved through these tight, rough-hewn stone corridors to reach rooms encased entirely in rock. Securing the air supply provided the necessary infrastructure for the complex to function as a permanent, multi-level city. Once you have air, the next hurdle is feeding a concealed population of 20,000. The middle levels feature massive, hollowed-out spaces designed to corral herds of sheep and cattle, keeping the entire agricultural base completely out of sight. Right next to these livestock pens, the builders excavated expansive cellars, stockpiling enough grain, water, and wine to endure long periods of isolation. To prevent the earth above from collapsing, engineers left behind thick, hand-carved stone pillars to shoulder the massive weight of the rock overhead. An intricate network of intersecting tunnels linked these granaries and stables to the residential quarters on every level. Every floor was organized with clear intention. The proximity of the food supply to the living quarters shows the structure was a planned ecosystem rather than disconnected bunkers. By integrating agriculture and livestock deep underground, the residents of Derinkuyu created a world capable of waiting out any prolonged military siege on the surface. Down in the lowest levels, the inhabitants maintained an active society. They carved out designated study rooms and fully equipped schools for the younger generations. They also built religious spaces, like this subterranean rock chapel with its carved columns and arched alcoves, ensuring community life continued even in exile. Archaeologists trace the foundational levels of this complex back to the Phrygians, an ancient Indo-European civilization native to the region. Centuries later, Roman inhabitants expanded these existing structures, digging deeper into the bedrock and increasing the overall structural capacity. Derinkuyu reached its peak scale during the Byzantine era, when it served as a primary stronghold for the local population. The 8 floors seen today resulted from successive ancient empires expanding the same bunker over generations to hide from the warfare above. Returning to the surface to look out across the rocky volcanic landscape of Cappadocia, it is striking to realize what sat directly underneath it. Derinkuyu serves as a record of the engineering required to keep 20,000 people alive in total isolation. For hundreds of years, an entire civilization lived and studied in the dirt, hidden beneath the exact spot where a modern neighborhood would eventually be built.